the Bible is interpreted through the lens of philosophy. I consider that the Bible is often interpreted by most modern people through the lens of science, and people think, oh, this is science. We have to test the Bible in exactly the same way through science. If it doesn't agree with science, then we throw the Bible out. And I've just read a book by the editor of our lesson, who's called what's his name? Sorry? No, the lesson. Clifford Goldstein, called "Baptizing the Devil." It's a bit of a wade through what he has to say, because he's very deep sometimes in his thinking, and very detailed in his writing. But he suggests that any time that we're
hi Gladys,
admitting to evolution,
hi.
Good morning. Anytime we admit to evolution, we're giving the devil a foothold, and we're actually baptizing the devil, and there's absolutely no reason for it. Now, I want to ask you the question: are you confident that Jesus took the Bible as a veritable word of God? And what examples would you use to try to show that Jesus took the Bible as a word of God?
Well, he cross-referenced back to the Old Testament all the time for scriptures and things. So,
yes, what things particularly do you come to mind? I mean, his cross-references. The lesson has brought out a number of ideas there, didn't it? So what things particularly?
Well, like, I didn't come to take away the law, I came to uphold all. I'm not very good at remembering my verses, so like that's for one thing.
That's very
good. And then he references some of the people from the Old Testament quite often. So, and some of the prophets and the things that they've said.
Good. Yes.
Yeah, to me, one of the main passages of Jesus validating the overall validity and the inspiration of the scriptures, it's in Mark chapter 10, verse 5 to 9, where basically the Pharisees were asking Jesus about the divorce, and Jesus answered them and says, because of the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept. But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God joined together, let no man separate. So Jesus is referencing the story of creation, of Adam and Eve, as reality, as what happened in the beginning, and therefore informing us how to live now.
Yes. Any other comments? I just jotted down two other things. One of them, his temptation in the wilderness, he referred to the Bible in authority. It is written, and quoted the gospel for each of his trials. And the other reference was, to the Pharisees, have you not read? And there's lots of other examples, I think, as well. Have you not read what David did when he was a hungered and went and ate the showbread? So I just want to look very, very briefly, and we don't need to look it up, but if you wish to, in Luke 16:19, there's a parable that Jesus told. And that parable was the parable of Lazarus and the rich man. Sue's got a phone ringing here. So I don't know if you want to just have a quick flick to Luke chapter 16. Because Jesus lived in a society where the Bible was accepted, and how do we know that he just didn't play along with the culture of the day, like he played along with the culture of the day in his parable in Luke 16. Now,
which verse?
Luke 16, verse 19.
There was a rich man who was dressed in a purple and fine linen and lived in a luxury every day.
Yep. And there's a certain beggar. Keep going. Just keep going for a couple of verses there. We don't need to read it all, but we might read some of it. Yeah.
At his gate was laid a beggar named Lazarus, covered with sores, and longing to eat what fell from the rich man's table. Even the dog came and licked his sores.
That's right.
Continue.
Yeah.
The time came when the beggar died, and the angels carried him to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried. In Hades, where he was interned, he looked up and saw Abraham